Conscious politics is slowly appearing on the scene. What exactly is that? Well, our founding fathers had a vision of a government for the people, by the people. Currently, we have a government which is totally divided, and both parties hate each other. The endless bickering and stalemate goes on. Need I say more? Conscious politics is driven by being aware and acting from a state of emotional maturity. What is that? It's living and breathing in a state of patience, tolerance, compassion towards others. It's actively listening to someone without judgment, that because his ideas are different, therefore he is evil. A conscious person can bend like wheat blowing in the wind. He can smile and laugh at a diversity. He has nothing to prove. His ego doesn't get fluffed up like a peacock. Granted, this will take time. Pockets of this is happening around the world. New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern is a prime example of this. She believes that kindness should be a foundation in politics. She said that kids are raised to be kind, yet in politics they are trained to be mean and demean your opponent. This is my journey on seeing my view of the world in politics. Of course, this is my view. I'm not saying your view is wrong. We need to see through different viewpoints and learn how to compromise in politics. Ultimately, we all want a better world for our children and grandchildren. What can I say about the good news coming from Korea? Imagine the North and South have been at odds with each other for over 60 years. It was a complete surprise to see that they're speaking to each other and want to resolve their differences. Today I see that Kim Jong-un will shut down his nuclear test site in May. He will invite experts and journalists from South Korea and the United States to inspect the site. Many people are skeptical about this. North Korea has promised many times before. Yet this time something special is going on. A rare sign of friendship is in the air. Maybe, just maybe, they will let bygones be bygones. There was so much mistrust in the air for over 60 years. It seems like in the past few months, the healing between the North and South has taken place. The Olympics was the first place in years that both countries participated together. Kim Jong-un even sent his sister as an ambassador for the Games. I remember about a year ago, South Korean President Moon created a controversy by saying he wanted to meet the North Korean Kim Jong-un. I remember a great sparkle in our press when he said that. Kim Jong-un said he wanted to create a diplomatic solution between the United States and North Korea. If this gets pulled off, this would truly be a miracle for the 21st century. Maybe friendships can occur between these nations. Maybe all the past tensions can be resolved. Maybe North Korea can finally rebuild their nation and become prosperous. Only time will tell. I hope that the President Trump will act like a diplomat and not call anyone by names. I hope he would not ridicule anyone or taunt anyone. These are delicate times. We don't need gasoline to be put on the bonfire. We want water to quench the fire.
Dear Mr. President, your words affect others. When you say you are a nationalist, everyone knows what you are saying. Wink, wink. I didn't add white to it, but you know what I mean. I'm not responsible for your actions. As the President of the United States, I can say whatever comes to my mind. When you say that thousands of immigrants are criminals and rapists, when you say many of them come from the Middle East and the Democrats are behind it, look what happened in the synagogue in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. When you call all news fake news, look at what happened to CNN. Bombs were mailed to him. At the same time, bombs were delivered through the mail to a dozen of your Democratic foes. You see, all sorts of people listen to your message. They listen to what you have to say. This even means people who are unstable. Your message can, and does, push people over the edge. When you said at Charleston that both sides were responsible for the violence, you were supporting the white nationalists. Clearly, after 2 years in office, you have no intentions to unify the nation. How many people have you mocked? How many lies have you told? The last count was 6,000 and something for the Washington Post. You have backed out of the Paris Accord. All the countries in the world were trying to solve a major problem with our environment. Future generations will be affected by climate change. This is a real issue today. Look at all the weather all around the world. You backed out of the Iran nuclear deal. It took about 5 years of hard work with the major countries of the world supporting it. It seems to me that whatever President Obama did, you are reversing. I feel you have a chip on your shoulder that you want to undo any past progress from the Democrats. As for Obamacare, people need help and assistance. What better plan have you come up with? We all know there's a serious issue with health care today. I was totally surprised when you said on 60 Minutes that you mocked on purpose Christine Blasey Ford so Kavanaugh would be elected. You said on air, I had to do whatever to get him elected. You even had the FBI do a jackass background investigation. Look, I'm not angry. I'm just saying what I see. The entire world is looking at us and are shaking their heads. They have never seen a president like this before. You mock our allies and at the same time give praise to the Russians and North Koreans. Look, I'm all for a peace treaty with North Korea. I sincerely hope you succeed. As a citizen, I hope you learn to change your ways. Kindness will go a long ways. You have such an incredible opportunity to change America. I pray that someday your speeches will come from your heart and you don't speak only to your followers. I hope you may learn how to unify man. I could go on and on. I'll keep it short. I believe that Americans must be united. The time of bickering has to stop. The Democrats and Republicans must learn how to talk with one another. We are all Americans. It seems like if we disagree with the other side, they are our enemies. They are not. They just have another point of view. The only way to solve this problem is through kindness. We must drop our anger. It does not have any purpose. We must be mature adults and act like one. Currently, kids in nursery school act more mature than Congress. Both sides of the party are to blame. Every person must arise to the occasion and change for the better. Ponder this over. We can be a guiding light to the world. We may stumble and fall, yet we have the courage to get back up and learn from our mistakes. We, as Americans, have lost our focus. We are divided. Our president has no intention to unite us. Every one of us must have the awareness to unite with each other. We can solve our problems in a civil way. We don't have to throw gasoline on the fire of life. Our whole nation, it seems, is in a state of anger. Look at all the shootings today. People are angry and are acting out. It's time for America to hit the reset button. It's time for us not to blame the other side. It's time to stop the name calling. It's time to stop demonizing the other side. We must get rid of our anger and start listening to each other. Both sides have great ideas. We must once again learn that we serve the people. You don't come into the office to hold on to your power. You come to serve. I think we have forgotten this. At this time, both parties are deadlocked and set in their ways. Name-calling comes from both sides of the aisle. We have lost human decency. We can't even be kind to each other. We are Republicans who are so scared and refuse to speak up about our president. We have Christian leaders who totally support our president. Yes, I believe in supporting the president, yet don't believe in forgetting your sacred values to enhance a position you want. All of us are to blame. The president isn't the only one to blame. The entire Congress is at fault. Congress hasn't gotten along in many moves. The problem is not new. It seems like the more people wake up from their slumber, the more darkness has no place to hide. It's in clear sight. Personally, I like the idea to pray and send light to all our leaders. Send kindness, not anger. We don't have to hate one another. It's up to each one of us to change. We are in a vicious cycle. We think by hating and being angry towards the other side, we can solve the problems. Anger and hatred will never solve any problems. So it's up to America to change. Kindness has never left us. Love and compassion has never left us. Patience and tolerance has never left us. Our mirror is dusty. We just need to clean it. Ponder this over. You are a piece of the puzzle. We can unite with each other. In fact, we are already united. We just can't see it. Hi, Mike. I listened to what you had to say yesterday. Thanks for the honest feedback. How do you not intend to hide behind hate and anger? If you see that, then thanks for discovering my cover-up. This is a refinement of what I was trying to say yesterday. Throughout history, words have power and consequences. We have gone to war thousands of times, and yet we still fight today. In the same manner, great books have been written like the Bible, Gita, and Quran. These books have inspired mankind for thousands of years. The words we say have great consequences. The words our leaders say can be remembered for thousands of years. You are a Christian, you speak highly of the words Christ spoke. I admire them. I admire anyone who speaks that wants to unite humanity. Our nation is deeply divided. Both political parties can't stand one another. The only way to solve these differences is for us to understand we are all Americans. After all, it's called the United States of America. Personally, I think the common denominator is being kind towards one another. It's having love and compassion towards our fellow man. It's being patient and tolerant towards others. I don't think people truly listen to each other. We need to truly listen to each other. Most of us are thinking what we're going to say next without truly listening. We, as a society, must change. Anger and hate has brought America to a stalemate today. Our country is totally divided. We all want the same thing. We want our nation to prosper. We want to educate our young. We want health care for all. We want jobs for all who want them. We want family and friends. Ask any American, and they probably are sick and tired of the bickering. The only way to change is for each person to realize they are a piece of the puzzle. Each one of us must weed our inner garden and take out the rocks and boulders. We must weed out anger and hate. We must water our garden with love. If each American did this, we could end this crazy cycle. We understand the common denominator of all. We cease to hate and be angry towards our fellow man. This is what all the great teachers and masters talk about. Even if one doesn't believe in God, they can be kind. They can have love and compassion in their hearts.
I'm glad to hear one candidate talk about campaign reform. He wants to restrict the use of lobbyists. He wants to restrict the amount of money that can contribute to a candidate. Both the Republicans and the Democrats oppose this. This is their power base. If you take that away, what are left to the people? This scares them to death. This is supposed to be a government for the people, by the people. Well, at times it's more like this is for business, by the business. Do politicians really care for the common man? I believe we need political reform. For a second, last week, I thought I was in Germany before World War II. The KKK, neo-Nazi, white supremacists, and other hate groups came to Charlottesville. They came in hate and anger. They chanted slogans that would have been said if Hitler was still alive. Now, I believe in free speech, but this has gone too far. Millions of Jews were slaughtered by Hitler and his regime. Millions of people died in the war. One innocent woman was killed and many injured by a terrorist driving his car into the crowd. I saw an interview where a Jewish synagogue had its people inside of the temple fearing going out. Outside, chants that Hitler was in the air. Yet what does our president say? He says both sides are at fault. Wow, are you serious?
He then, a few days later, makes a statement saying they should be condemned. Yet the next day, he again says the blame is to be on both sides. Wow, again. Our president doesn't regret what he said. Many of the CEOs on his business council resigned. Even the heads of all military announced that hate groups do not belong in America. We fought a war against bigotry. Now it's back and seemingly supported by the president. He even has members of his cabinet who support the alt-right. Wow, again. Just a few days ago, I wrote about Trump almost bringing us to the brink of war, and now this. Last night, CNN called 65 Republicans to ask for their feedback. Only one of them responded. He alone spoke the truth. Did you know that the same thing happened in Germany? Nobody spoke up. Did you know that President Trump never called the mayor of Charlottesville? He did not attend the young woman's funeral. Did you know that the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and other hate groups feel that the president supports them? Now that's scary. I even saw an interview where one said that our president is putting tons of gasoline on the fire. I'm glad to see some Republicans speak up. The sad thing is before Trump came to office, the main supporters were the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists. They continue with him today. I bow my head in silence to the young women and the 2 other officers who died in serving our country. You did not die in vain. Thousands of people yesterday had a beautiful vigil remembering you. I have faith in mankind. Peace will be on this earth. You are a piece of this puzzle.
If Christ was alive today, would he have voted for our president? Would he have voted for someone who declares, like a murderer, someone on the street, and they would still vote for me? How about mocking someone who was born with defects? Would Christ vote for someone who would build a wall between nations? Christ wanted man to build bridges, not walls. Christ would say, take care of the refugees, the needy, and the poor. There's a bill to stop all Syrians from entering our country. It takes 2 years of serious vetting to enter the country. Yet our president says no vetting occurs. Christ believes in speaking the truth. He had the highest of ethics and values. The present administration believes in alternate truth. Just think, the majority of Americans are Christians. We voted for this man. Do you think Christ would have voted for him? I sincerely doubt that. Take your religion to heart. Don't think that 1 hour a week is enough. Your master taught that your entire life has meaning and purpose. Stop all the name calling. Grow up. Be an adult. Don't spew anger. Be kind. Love your neighbor. Listen to one another. We are all one family. Stop the judgment calls on different religions. They all point to the same God. Practice what your great masters have said. We can all do this. Love the diversity. Look how diverse nature is. Look at how many different flowers there are. Well, what about the weeds? Do they have purpose? Many of the best herbal medicines are weeds. Do the flowers fight one another? I don't think so. Love the diversity of man. We are all so different, yet we are the same. We came from God, every one of us. How dare we mock one another due to our religions? We should rejoice in the many paths. Remember, all paths eventually go home. We need to celebrate and enjoy the diversity of all. You are the universe. You just don't know it. There is so much division in America today. We need to stop the name calling. We need to listen to one another. Politicians need to pass bills that are good for everyone. The Congress is at a standstill. Both parties have hatred for one another. How childish. You're here to serve the people, not yourself. You have created the division in America. Do you see that? What examples do you set? During the last administration, even before the president was in office, you said you would stop all of his actions. The American people must vote for those who truly want to serve. We don't need professional politicians. Maybe we need term limits.
Politics. Can you imagine if one person or dragon would see our world today? Remember, in the dragon's world, the city Shambhala, there was no crime. Consequently, there were no policemen. They had no wars. So billions of dollars didn't go for the defense. People were kind and respected one another. The golden rule was practiced by all. It was a part of their nature, and just like breathing, it was a part of their life. The dragons and man were in sync with the laws of the universe. You could say they were one. Harmony existed in their world. Tolerance for all, regardless where you came from. Granted, this took time. Baby steps were taken. 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards. This is how we learn. Every step of the way, we can learn something. Well, fast forward today. We have a president who tweets at 3 in the morning talking about my button is bigger than your button. Mind you, kids out there, he is talking about the red button, when push, would send nuclear warheads to North Korea. He is mocking the dictator of North Korea. Now, both the president and the dictator are bullies. They are 1,000 times worse than any bullies on the playground. They could ignite a true nuclear war. The president wants to build a wall between US and Mexico. Do you know what the citizens did in Shambhala? They would have built bridges to all the refugees who got displaced by wars. They weren't physical bridges, but an opening of the hearts toward their fellow man.
The citizens of Shambhala would be shocked to see mass deportation of their fellow man. Today, there are citizens who have lived in this country and are deported. Common sex is uncommon. Imagine in the northern Scandinavian countries, prisons are closing. The prisoners are taught a trade. Dignity and respect are given. Kindness is the norm. With this in mind, the prisoner's system changes for the good. People are getting second chances. Well, in the good old America, the prisons are now for profit corporations. This means they don't want prisoners to change for the better. The more prisoners are in the prison, the more money they can make. When it comes to movies, the big hits are platinum movies and horror movies, we're conditioned to believe this is entertainment. We think violence and horror is a part of our DNA. It's not. We think that kindness is for the weak, yet kindness is the most powerful force in the universe. I'm talking to the youngsters out there. You can have a far better world than we have now. Be kind to yourself and others. If you do this day in and day out, this world will change. You are a piece of this puzzle. Take baby steps. You see, the world we presently live in goes in circles. History repeats itself. Countless wars have been fought, and they never solved anything. Billions of dollars go into profit for companies that build weapons. We should be able to feed the entire world. The United States should embrace the refugees just like Shambhala did. Build a city for refugees somewhere in the States. Allow any refugee from war-torn nations come and live there. Educate them, train them, give them decent food and shelter. Most of all, be kind. Practice the golden rule. Live the great principles of your spiritual teachers. Christ would be shocked if he saw the conservative Christians supporting the president today. The country and world are being divided. The president is doing this on purpose. He will degrade anyone who disagrees. He will mock anyone regardless of who they are. I remember he mocked a reporter who had a disability, and the president mocked him on national TV. If that was a previous president, he would have been voted out of office. Many high-powered people have resigned lately due to sexual exploitation. Why doesn't the president get scrutinized? The president will never back down and apologize. With all this in mind, the Republicans and Christians still support him. The political system is broken. Politics is all about compromise. Both parties can't stand one another. Both have such extreme animosity towards each other. Laws are passed, and the other party has no say-so or can participate. We, as a nation, need to wake up. We can change. Each one of us is a piece of the puzzle. Only kindness can help us. We're living a life that is backwards and barbaric. We need to reclaim the virtues of nature again. You see, man is out of sync with nature. The whales and dolphins can navigate using their sonar. It's built in. We have internal sonar within that has never been turned on. Consequently, we are not in balance. In Shambhala, the people learn how to be in tune with the universe. Consequently, all the darkness disappeared. Man needs to discover his true nature. Only light can dispel darkness. Nothing else can. This is a new day occurring to man. Man is waking up from a slumber. The sun is arising. Hopefully, the children will take this to heart. We think we have political problems today. Well, in China many moons ago, Lao Tzu walked away. China had the same problems we did. Man lost the way. Man wouldn't listen to the great masters. So eventually, Lao Tzu walked away. He was stopped in the forest near the border. The monks knew that he was going away. They pleaded for him to give some final wisdom. The Tao Te Ching was born. This precious book is still alive today. We think we know ourselves. I'm John or Sally. Yet we are so much more. Only you can find your true nature. These precious words, well, they are precious to me. These sayings have many riddles and pieces of the puzzle to solve. They are meant to put salt into your food. They are meant to create a thirst to discover your true nature. You are the universe. You just don't know it. Your nature is kind. You are eternal. You have always existed. Yet, we are alone. At times we feel helpless. Well, help is on the way. Here's a toast for you to dive within your heart to discover your true nature. You can solve this riddle. On this journey of life, there is no conversion. There's nothing to convert to. You are the universe. You just don't know it. You can't convert to your true nature. You can discover it. That's quite a difference. Nobody is trying to have control over you. You want to have control over yourself. Another big difference. God doesn't convert. God simply is. Dive into the silence to discover this riddle. Did you know that God is not fanatical? God is practical. Where do we get it in our minds that we need to be fanatical to find God? Unfortunately, we were taught this. Once upon a time, I was a fanatic. I couldn't see the forest from the trees. Over time, I learned to be practical and balanced in all ways. Chop wood, carry water is a way to discover your true essence. You must live in this world. Do your duties. In the midst of all, discover your true nature. Being fanatical about anything means who are out of balance, even being fanatical about God. Look at the world today. So many people are murdered because of people who are fanatics. God wants us to discover our true nature. Only by being in balance may He solve this riddle. We are not sinners. How can you be a sinner when you are the universe? The universe is not a sinner. Yes, we make mistakes. This is the game of life. There are lessons to learn on the way. That's why we are here. We are here to master ourselves. God wants us to solve our puzzle of life. God wants us to discover our true nature. One of the greatest masters was the Christ. He said, "The kingdom of heaven is within." You can solve this puzzle. You can be a partner with God. Gandhi was a simple man who brought England to its knees. Whoever would have thought a 90-pound weakling could cause England so much trouble? He believed in the common man. Gandhi was a man more powerful than all of England. He knew the true power of this life. He was not your ordinary politician. He cared for this human life. Many people don't realize the power of water. It seems so gentle, yet over time it can dissolve rock. Gandhi believed that non-violence was the answer. The British with their arms left India forever. Gandhi simply left them with a mirror. How can you kill when none wants to fight? You eventually leave the country and never to return. When I was a kid, Martin Luther King believed in non-violence. Unfortunately, he was killed, but his dream lived on. America was transformed by his words. Our world is a better place. I believe in non-violence. We can truly change the world. Gandhi and King, I salute you. Great masters from the past came down to change our crazy world. Man has been fighting for eons. What has it brought us? Nothing but misery on this planet. Probably billions of people have died due to wars. How civilized are we? Do we truly think that by going to war, it will solve man's problems? We had World War I. It was the war to end all wars. Yet, only years later, we had World War II. This time, the war ended when Japan was bombed twice with nuclear bombs. Still, this didn't end fighting among men. Wars still continue today. Our current president is on the verge of having another nuclear war with North Korea. Both countries are ridiculing one another on the playground of life. Both leaders are very
immature and unstable. I pray that someone will intervene. Where does all this craziness stem from? Why do we act this way? Man has to discover his true nature. Man needs to learn how to tame the mind. It's that simple. That's what all the craziness gets started, from an untrained mind. And that's why I say the spiritual path is the most practical path. Without a spiritual path, the weeds would then grow out of control. Anger, greed, power, control, these take over. We see it very evident today. We have a president who, if you disagree, will spend the early morning tweeting all about you. His words aren't kind, but extremely demeaning. The New York Times keeps records how many times he has lied. It was around 900 at the last count. This was only 7 months into his presidency. How can we know when he is speaking the truth? He has the nuclear codes in his hands. Will his ego push us into a nuclear war? Only time will tell. Each of us has a piece of the puzzle. We don't have the entire puzzle. We have a piece. Without your piece, the puzzle can't be complete. Ponder this over. You are more important than you think.
Has politics gone astray? I've been following the presidential race today. It seems there's been a lot of mud throwing today. Both the Democrats are calling themselves liars. Let me drag you into the mud and show the world you're a liar. Maybe then will people cast their vote. People are smart. They know what's going on. Big business is leading the way. Do we live in a true democracy? I don't think so. Why is it that we all have money to buy votes? Special interest groups cast laws in stone. Time magazine just ran a big story on it today. In a few days, the story will be forgotten. Big business and politics will go on their way. Isn't it a duty for a politician to serve the people? Yet the modern day politician is more interested in his own pursuit of power. The polls say that voters are not coming out. I wonder why. You can't fool man. At times I think a kindergartner is more mature than our politicians. Don't get me wrong, not all politicians act this way, but the aura is there, nevertheless. We live in an era where we can spin the truth. We are spinning democracy into the grave. At times I get so angry when they say the American people. Washington is rising in his grave. Our politicians have raped our Social Security fund. We give lip service to the environment. The average American has no say. Big business is first-class citizens. We have apartheid here in America. It's more hidden and behind the scenes. Politicians and big business are sleeping in the same bed together. We proclaim, my fellow Americans, yet we really don't care. And you wonder why people don't vote. Are you aware at all? Do you think people can see you naked? Has politics gone astray? When I was just a kid, I heard about Martin Luther King. I was white and he was black. Unfortunately, when I was a child, nobody really taught me what was going on. I wasn't prejudiced, yet I didn't know about other people's plight in our country. As I got older, I read about his life. He believed in nonviolence. Isn't it amazing how backwards we are? We say we believe in freedom for all, yet Martin died in the struggle. His dream lives on. He did not die in vain. People all around the world carry his dream. Whether a man is black or white, the dream lives on. I have a dream. His dream exists inside of you and me. Thank you, Martin Luther King. How can we stop wars? First of all, man must stop the fighting inside. We must pull out the negative weeds that exist inside of ourselves. We must pull out anger, intolerance, and greed. We have tainted glasses. We think we are seeing clearly, yet the weeds are preventing us from seeing clearly. Any war starts inside of us, and then it spreads to others. It's like a disease. It spreads quickly. We totally think we have a God-given right to attack another country. God does not take sides. We have to solve any problems on our own. We act like spoiled babies. If I don't get what I want, I will have a temper tantrum. Wars get started that way. Wars will be stopped when there is an inner and outer balance of wisdom. Do we ever learn from our mistakes? History repeats itself over and over again. All the wise men from the past have said, learn from your mistakes. You are a fool when the same needle is playing the same part of the song over and over. War, war, war. Children have greater wisdom. They know that war never solves any problems. Look at Iraq. We've been there 3 times longer than World War II. Yet still, there is no peace in sight. Show me a war today that has united mankind. By eliminating the war inside of us, we can stop the external wars. We can begin to discriminate proper actions to eliminate wars on the outside. How about talking to newborn mothers on both sides of the conflict? Let's think outside of the box. What does a newborn mother want for her child? A warm and comfy home, food on the table, a safe environment for a child, a great school to teach the young. If she was involved in this process, I can guarantee you that wars would be stopped. The mothers would solve the problems. Politicians start wars and send young men to fight them. They aren't part of the process. Mothers are. Their sons are sent off to fight some battle. We need to stop glorifying war. Talk to any veteran. Did you know that in every hour of the day, some veteran is committing suicide? Why are there over 50,000 homeless veterans just in Los Angeles? Our politicians give lip service to this today. How many have come back totally traumatized? Their limbs and minds have been blown away. We make young men. It is an honor to defend our country. Yet, is any war justified? Do we have inner peace? If you don't, you are all on the same track, playing the same song. War, war, war. Inner peace is the first step we need to obtain. If a politician doesn't have that, we are doomed to fall in the same track in history. Man must start to pull the inner weeds. The wise men like Christ have been saying this for centuries, yet we say it's not practical. I would say it's the most practical thing any human being can do for this planet. I would say we are crazy not to pull our weeds inside of ourselves. Any problem known to man can be solved when a man works on the garden within. Your garden can help to bring the kingdom of heaven on earth. When the fighting has stopped inside of you, you put your piece of the puzzle into the puzzle of life. This is how wars can be eliminated from this planet. Remember that God is your coach. He is on the sidelines watching the game. It's up to us to solve our problems. Are our politicians who sent innocent men to war hungry for the kill? Why would you send innocent ones to die on the battlefield? You are not doing your job. You are paid to be diplomats. There is a way to solve this issue. You gave up and said that's the only solution. Is there a part of you that takes responsibility for your actions? How do you sleep at night? Are you a career politician? I'm only interested in getting elected. I have no concerns for my fellow man. I'm the best leader. I will slander my opponent. We need to change. Leaders must truly lead without selfish interests. Let's change the system. We are all angels falling from heaven. Before we were born, we were angels. Every single one of us. Over time, we lost our true nature. We became bitter with life. There is no gravity. The world sucks. This is our motto. Our true nature is to soar in life. We were meant to fly. How did we go astray? How did we forget our true nature? Angels falling from heaven. You can solve this riddle. When you laugh, the universe is laughing. Laughter is the energy of joy. It ripples throughout the universe. Have you seen that even if you are sad, laughter will take your sadness away? Laughter is God's way to say, I'm always with you. You are never alone. When you laugh, you become alive. You start to wake up. Who am I? We go through such human drama. Laughter is the medicine to help heal us. No wonder we love comics. They can tell you things you would never say to one another. By doing that, it makes us laugh. God is the greatest comic alive. He just says no while you are alive. That is the greatest punchline. Is this life the greatest show on earth? Is this life a circus? Are we going around in circles? As P.T. Barnum said, a sucker is born every moment. It seems that man has been in a rut for a very long time. It seems to be so long that many think we will blow this circus apart. I don't think so. Peace will be on this earth. The greatest show on earth is taking place. We, as a whole, want peace. The light is shining. The light will dispel the darkness of night. Discover who you truly are. You will then solve this riddle. This life is a riddle. You are alive to solve the riddle of life. Who am I? Many different riddles have been presented to you. Have you seen anything in common? All the riddles point to going within. The answers don't exist outside of you. The answers are hidden within. They have always been there. You've been looking in the wrong places. All the great masters have said the same thing. The kingdom of heaven lies within. If there is a hint to solve the riddle of life, there it is. Remember, only you can solve this riddle. Nobody can do it for you. You can solve this riddle. We live in the home of the free and brave. We live in the land of democracy. Yet at times there is so much hypocrisy. We have laws in this land to protect our young. We have drug laws to protect man. Yet we have our own government bringing in drugs such as cocaine. Our rationale is the money is used to fight a war Congress won't give us the money to support. So we have our government institutions be pushers. It's okay for these drugs to come into LA, Mr. Inspector. These profits will help support a hidden cause. During the 80s, billions of dollars came. The Iran-Contra was the name of the game. From the top, I didn't know about it. We got pissed off at Costa Rica for not allowing our planes to land laden with drugs. We would never accept in our airspace foreign countries' contraband on our land. It's kind of amazing that the dirt was pushed under the rug. 60 Minutes did an expose, but soon after it was covered up. It really didn't happen this way. I don't care what you think about me. Everyone will have different opinions about you. Just ask the Dalai Lama. He is probably one of the kindest person on earth, yet the Chinese government hates him. They kicked him out of Tibet many moons ago, yet his kindness radiates to all. Friend or foe, the world needs that. The Dalai Lama says, kindness is my religion. I totally agree with that. With that kind of awareness, the Dalai Lama has compassion and love towards the Chinese government. It isn't resentment. I'm sure in the beginning there was. The Dalai Lama even admits that he had quite the temper tantrum when he was young. It goes to show that over time, one can overcome one's anger. Nobody gets a free ride in life. We all have to overcome obstacles and emotional problems in our life. Many moons ago, I didn't understand why each day he would go over his daily activities and make slight adjustments on what he would do. And in this situation, I could be a little bit more patient. I could be more patient with this person. I might not have been totally there when I spoke to him. You see, slight adjustments day by day makes the individual. There's not one leap that will get you there. This is not a super garden where in one moment fruits will arrive on the vine of life. This path is a day by day, moment by moment, to be aware of your thoughts and actions. Here again is a broken record. The spiritual path is the most practical path. It takes complete dedication. It spills over into all areas of life. It starts from within and floods external. Your awareness is expressed in your actions. If your mind is kind, you will be kind. I'm always amused when I see people driving on the freeway. Some people weave in and out of traffic. You can almost see a trail of impatience. Get out of the way. Some people will tailgate you. They act like bullies at the playground. They are totally insecure. That's why they are a bully. They have a distorted view on life. They aren't happy. I love the ones driving in the slow lane, having the time of their life. They aren't in a hurry. Yes, they are driving to work, but today is a brand new day, and they know it's a miracle to be alive. They flow with life and pay attention to it. Isn't this a grand day? I'm driving in the slow lane of life. I'm capturing the beauty of the moment. My mind is at ease. What a beautiful life we have. I don't want to go to war against you. Many young people say this today. Even the youth in Israel and Pakistan are saying this. Why are we fighting? Do we even remember why? War is obsolete. Only a barbarian have war. We have the internet. We can solve the conflicts with one another. We can think outside the box. We can compromise. We can bend like the reed in the wind. Both of us are talking about the same thing. Both sides want peace. We all come from the same family. We came from the same Creator. Our youth will help change mankind. Our youth are kind man. They have an awareness that is different from us. They come into this world with an awareness that war is obsolete. You could say they are a little bit more mature than us. They know how to compromise. War has been on this planet for thousands of years. It has never truly solved anything. We just keep on fighting. We are caught up playing the same song
over and over. They want to play the song of peace, and they are playing millions of people all around the world are joining the bandwagon. It's a silent revolution. No shots will be heard. It's an revolution of love. Millions of people are discovering their true nature, regardless of caste, color, or creed. We are the same. We are the universe. We just don't know it. We can change. Each and every one of us. Inside of each one lies that precious jewel of life. It's waiting to be discovered. Ponder this over. I don't want to go to war against you. You're only fighting against yourself.
About a month ago, I began to hear some very strange stories concerning our immigration policies. At first, I thought these were false news. How could America do this to immigrants? Our new policy is to separate children from their parents when they are asked to enter the country. Recently, I saw on the news a mother was breastfeeding her child when it was taken away from her. A mother was told her child would be given a bath and never return. Around 1,500 children are missing in the system. Boys and girls are separated from the same family. The children are locked behind fences. This reminds me of Germany 60 years ago. Where is the kindness in all this? Our administration and Jeff Sessions give Bible quotes justifying this. Good old Jeff says they come to this country illegally, they deserve this. He recently said that if a person tries to come here from a country where they left because of fear for their lives, it is no longer justified. Wow, how cruel can you get? He also said that mothers leaving their countries because of serious spousal abuse are no longer welcome. Another wow. Where is our kindness in all this? We have a president who wants to build a wall. I think we should build a bridge. Would Christ build a wall? Definitely not. Christ had compassion for all human beings. I've never been more alarmed in my entire life. When your president says the following, Trump praises Kim Jong-un's authoritarian rule, says, I want my people to do the same. That's scary. He said he was just joking, yet look at what's going on today in America. Now, that's scary. Kindness is needed more than anything today. We are no longer a kind nation. Our president thinks he knows more than anybody else. Our allies are becoming our enemies. Our enemies are becoming our friends. Look, I believe we should take a look at the immigration issue. It's been swept under the carpet for so long. Our president said he would deport only the ones who had a criminal record. Well, the policy has changed, and anyone who is here illegally is fair game. We, as a nation, it seems, is turning back and becoming what we fought for during World War II. Back then, the general population didn't say a thing. Why doesn't the Republicans in power say anything? The ones who do say are mocked by the president. He will then look for another person to take over his job and campaign for them. The foundation of America is being shaken to its foundation. Millions of people getting numb for all of this. This is what he wants. This is his plan. Look, I'm just a simple human being. I don't have a conspiracy theory. I'm just saying what I see. This is what happens when you have a president who doesn't rule by moral and ethics. I never knew the president could rule like a dictator. As I said before, I never knew the president had so much power. Are we going back in time where we become the Nazis? Are we going back in time where the country is filled with anger and hatred? Are we going back in time where the entire country is divided? Never before have I seen this mess before. As Americans, we must speak up before it's too late. Look, I don't hate the president. I dislike his actions and where we are going. Without kindness for all, we are doomed. When you make decisions without kindness or considerations for all, they are quite frankly bad decisions. We're going backwards at all levels of the government. Whatever good the previous president did, he is unwinding all of it. Personally, I think we should elect leaders who are kind. If you don't pass this simple test, then don't vote for him. You need elected officials that can listen to both sides of the story. A person should know how to bend with the wind. That must know how to compromise. Look, the political bickering must stop. We are Americans, not Democrats or Republicans. We, as a nation, must arise and change for the better. We can't go on with our old ways. You see, kindness is the answer.
Well, the big primaries are over. Bush and Gore won. Let's see how they will jockey for position. Well, Gore has taken McLean's stand on campaign reform. Isn't it kind of funny how 2 weeks ago he didn't talk about it? McCain had millions of supporters. Maybe I could grab some of those. Campaign reform is my motto. If the election were held today, McCain would win. Yet, as for now, he's out of the running. What an irony. Has our politics become a spinning of words? Do they really have true beliefs? Nelson Mandela was a man of his words. He was thrown in prison because of them. He didn't spin the truth like our politicians do. No wonder the Americans are voting. Who can you trust? A man will say one thing one moment and the next moment says the exact opposite. Where do they stand?